My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, today is a very happy day for us. I wish each and every one of you a holy feast of our Holy Mother Clare. She is a radical prophet for our times. I would like to share with you today some special characteristics of our Holy Mother Clare that denote her prophetic radicality. Most of us are devoted to her by praising her virtues, piety. But as an outsiders, we are doing all these things. It is time to move from devotion to following her steps, her life, her style, etc. It is easy to be a devotee of Saint Clare, but we are called to follow her prophetic stand. This will make us to respond to the signs of our times as she responded to her times. I want to share with you few striking characters of Saint Clare, a great model for every Franciscan and the first and the best Franciscan after Saint Francis. The first point I would like to speak is on the focus on the Lord, gazing upon the Lord, which she usually refers to. Saint Clare often asked the sisters to gaze upon the Lord. This centrality of Jesus becomes the strength and energy of every Franciscan. Clare's full focus was to follow Jesus of the gospel to the letter. She was able to face the challenges and tribulations due to her intimacy with God. On the other hand, we have the temptation to gaze our focus from the Lord to other persons, to other things. This tendency leads us to comparisons, gossips, cliques at the cost of our own vision and mission for which the Lord has called every one of us. Lack of gazing on the Lord reduces the very purpose of our apostolic Franciscan call. The providence of God versus the opportunities and benefits of the world available in front of us. The choice to be poor and follow the Jesus the poor was filled with additional risk in a world of growing greed for money and possessions. It is unfortunate that most of us are too much attached to our own families, our relatives, our friends. This negatively affects our mission as we begin to ignore the needy people to whom we are called to live for and to live with. Hence, as a result, we end up in low mentality, to regionalism, to casteism, to groupism based on language, culture, areas, rights, ethnicity, etc. Saint Clare, along with her sisters, made a prophetic stand to take side with the Lord. This choice meant total trust in God's providence. Today, we have enough and more anxieties about our future beyond the limit. Our craving for more money, more wealth, and more possession and positions seems to question whether we trust in the providence of God at all. In this connection, for us, religious, and we are Franciscans, it is very fitting to listen to the words of Gandhi, who once told, "You cannot serve God and mammon both." I have always felt that when a religious organization has more money than it requires, it is in the peril of losing its faith in God and pinning its faith on money. The fact is, the moment financial stability is assured, spiritual bankruptcy is also assured. Third point is discomfort versus comfort-seeking life. Saint Francis and the first followers were mostly the city youth with high qualifications, professionals, etc. But they were proud to give up all their possessions. Voluntary poverty coupled with the discomforts was the hallmark of these vagabonds. This spirit of total detachment brought them a joyful freedom from the clutches of greed, avarice, and competition. Once they left their homes, they never yielded to the temptation of going back to their past comfortable lifestyle. Life of the order of the poor ladies had certainly brought in a lot of risk factors, challenges, discomforts. In fact, it was a choice for a penitential life. Today, on the contrary, we are often led to the temptation to get back to a comfort seeking life. We are easily led away from the original vigor and enthusiasm with which we entered the religious Franciscan life. Discomfort in personal choice leads us to solidarity with the poor Christ, with the poorest of the poor. Seeking comfort is the curse of a religious life, and seeking comfort is the curse for a Franciscan. The fourth aspect or character of St. Clare is the privilege of poverty versus the privilege of the riches. The privilege of poverty, the only one of its kind at that time, which she defended against all oppositions, even that of popes and cardinals. This defense often depended on her alone, notwithstanding the support of Agnes of Prague, Bohemia, of Sister Agnes, and even of Brother Elias. Here we find her prophetic loneliness, firmness, convictions, and getting rooted in the gospel Christ. Saint Clare preferred to undergo any challenge in following the poor Christ who lived on the streets with the 12 more men. St. Clare wanted poverty as a privilege, a prophetic stand against all odds. It was a standing witness against the world of avarice, competition, money, fighting, violence, and other types of culture. Today, we long for other privileges. We want privilege of riches. We want privilege of cities lifestyle. We long for privilege of comfortable positions. We want the privilege of money, name and recognition. These are not the purpose for which God has called us and trusting us even today. St. Clare remains a model for each of us to choose Jesus, who in turn chose to be poor, born of a poor mother, in the words of St. Francis. The fifth character, rejecting the nobility in order to choose servanthood. It is told of St. Clare about her constant refusal to act as abbess or as lady, wishing to be considered a handmaid, the servant of her sisters, going so far as seeking the most mortifying duties. Ever since Clare took up the gospel life, she was happy to be a servant of all, living in voluntary poverty. Today, there is a temptation to search for false nobility, raising one's status, seeking for places of fame, be it within the congregation or through the institutions in the society. Opportunities are still open for this mission to take up the servanthood rather than seeking honorable positions. The sixth character is St. Clare's peaceful approach towards opponents. One would greatly admire St. Clare's controlled and calm resistance against the Saracens and other enemies of Assisi. When the Saracens entered the place, all the sisters were in total trouble, while St. Clare kept up her calm status with inner strength to face the enemies. The strength of the religious amidst loneliness, tension, and anxiety is the symbol of the total trust of God's presence and God taking the lead. I remain passive and God takes the active role in me and I just follow. This is prophetism. This is radicalism. In fact, every religious is being led and is passive while God is fully active in him or in her. Now, you are the hope. God trusts you. Dear brothers and sisters, as we celebrate the feast of St. Clare, it is time to be grateful to God for our Franciscan occasion. One of the legends tells us of how Francis was once troubled about the future of the order due to the several confusions among the brothers in following the gospel way. At that time, he hears the voice of Jesus speaking to him. Francis, Francis, Why are you troubled about the future of the order? It is not yours, it is mine. I shall give birth to sons and daughters in order to follow this way of life, to witness to the gospel, to proclaim my life to the world. Yes, dear friends, Jesus has specially called you and me to this Franciscan life to follow the prophetic radical lifestyle. When you entered, you had a clear determination to listen to God and to God alone and to no other. This has to continue even today. Let that vigorous trust in Jesus flourish every moment. God is after you. Even if you do not believe in Him, or even if you don't trust in Him, or if you don't even trust in your own self, Jesus believes you and He believes in your ability to respond and to build the reign of God. May our Holy Mother, Clare, lead us in this journey. Amen.